Now, the search continues for Brian Laundrie. Where is he? Where has he gone? And who knows where he is? Now, he's not been charged in the death of Gabby Petito, but he has federal charges and a federal warrant involving the unauthorized use of a debit card, $1,000 worth, and everyone's looking for him. FBI's looking for him. Local authorities are looking for him. You got Dog the Bounty Hunter's looking for him. No one has found him yet. Meanwhile, protesters gathered outside the home of Brian's sister, Cassie, yesterday. Now, Cassie and her husband addressed the small crowd about why they have remained fairly silent to the media and how much communication is happening between the Laundrie family members. Video of this incident was captured outside the house and posted on TikTok.
And I am losing my parents and my brother and my children's aunt and my future sister-in-law on top of this, and you're not helping.
Why your parents? Why your parents? You're talking about
because they're not talking to us either. We've told the FBI everything. Everything. The world does not need to know what the FBI knows, and that's why we're silent.
They've asked us to not say anything.
So the family's not talking. That's on the advice of the family attorney. Now, the attorney doesn't represent the sister and her husband. The attorney apparently represents Brian and his parents. And the parents not talking to their daughter on the advice of counsel. And the daughter, the sister of Brian, Cassie, saying, the FBI asked us not to talk. So there's a lot of silence. That silence was broken momentarily on the lawn of Brian's sister today. But let's do this. Let's bring in our think tank right now. Joining us tonight in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor Al Wunsch III, in Seattle, Washington, trial attorney Ann Bremner, and in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, former prosecutor, special assistant state attorney, counsel for Ben Crump Law, and trial attorney Sue Ann Robinson. Great to see everyone. Al, let me ask you this. First of all, FBI says, listen, don't say anything. Keep your mouth quiet. And that's basically what the FBI has told Cassie and her husband and the family. They say they've told the FBI everything they know. Can the FBI, what happens if the FBI tells you to be quiet and then you go on your front lawn and you speak publicly?
There's nothing you can do. I mean, they're not charged with anything. You have the right to freedom of speech. You have a constitutional right to say what you want to say. They're not suspects in this. And even if they were suspects, anything they say could be used against them. So for the most part, they did what they wanted to do. They went out there, they had a little conversation. I mean, you see that there is some acrimony amongst the family members. You see that they're not very happy with the attorney that's representing their brother, Brian, and the rest of the family. And you see that, they feel like they're getting the short end of the stick. They were told to keep quiet, and yet these people keep picketing in front of their house. They came out, and, more power to them.
Absolutely. And the caught in the crossfire of all this, they have children inside who are crying because these people are screaming outside. And it was really interesting to watch this back and forth, Ann Bremner, because as Cassie and her husband came out, they were very calm, under control, very forthcoming. And all of a sudden, the protesters went from screaming to having a conversation. But what we learned during that conversation is also that the family's not talking. The family's not talking. Now, the parents, there's no warrant for the parents. They haven't been charged with anything. So why would an attorney tell the parents not to talk to their own daughter?
Well, exactly. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. No privilege there, of course, their conversations with their daughter. But I've never told any of my clients not to talk to their daughter. Also, by the way, the daughter doesn't know anything. I like the de-escalation, like you mentioned, Vinny. That's just kind of a way to say, let's have a conversation. We don't know anything, and we're not in any way trying to obstruct justice or the public or the FBI or anybody else. Just in this with the same interests that you have.
Yeah, it really struck me that it seems like Cassie's kind of like thrust into the middle of all of this, Sue Ann. Your thoughts about the family silence, and not in speaking to us, to the media or the public, but like talking to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Landrys are, kind of imploding now. There's so much tension surrounding trying to find Brian that it's almost like it's imploding their entire family. And honestly, I think Brian Landry's sister just feels at this point that the people that are outside their home day after day are basically bullying them. And I think today she just went outside and to basically plead with them to leave, essentially, by saying, listen, this is all the information I have. You can go. I don't have anything else to give. And once the FBI is saying, hey, we're in an active investigation, what you've advised us is part of the investigation, don't disclose it. And she's so desperate to have these people leave her home that she's willing to go out there and speak to the crowd anyway, tells you so much. It's so telling of the pressure that she's under right now, the whole family.
And the bottom line, whatever she says, Brian Laundrie knows already. I mean, he knows. It's not like they're keeping a secret about what Cassie could say to the FBI about Brian, because Brian would have been there. He would have known all of this. The parents would know all of this. Al, let me ask you, there's still a lot of pressure. Well, hopefully the protesters leave Cassie and her family and her kids alone. There's still folks that are near the parents' home, right? I think one of the neighbors might be blasting that song, Dirty Laundry, like 24 hours a day. Will this pressure, Al, do you think the pressure on the family would Brian see this and maybe say, you know what, maybe I need to turn myself in just to get my parents out of all of this?
Well, I doubt that, unfortunately, because I mean, especially if he's on the Appalachian Trail, and we got Dog the Bounty Hunter. We should probably have John Walsh out there. We should probably have Chris Hansen and maybe even Carmen Sandiego looking for this guy. But under the circumstances, there's no contact between him and the family, because darn well that if they were able to find contact between him and the family, there would be a little bit more action going on than just sitting outside and picketing in front of the house. The FBI would be all over them like stink on a monkey, because under the circumstances, if he's on the Appalachian Trail, he doesn't see what's going on. He doesn't know what he's doing to his family. And it's an absolute travesty that this is going on to his poor sister, who looks like a decent individual who's caught up in something that she has, no idea about. She even stated, they said, do you think he killed her? And she's like, I don't know. I mean, she's being brutally honest. Let's stay away from her. Stay in front of the parents' house if you want, but honestly, also they're victims in this too. This guy is a piece of garbage. And he should be caught. He should turn himself. If he had any decency, he'd turn himself in.
Now, you talk about the contact. That also came up during an exclusive interview with Good Morning America. Cassie talked about the camping trip the family took just days before Gabby Petito was reported missing. Laundrie stated that she does not know where her brother is presently. She also talked about the last time she spoke with her brother and why she wants him to come forward.
I worry about him. I hope he's okay. And then I'm angry and I don't know what to think. I would tell my brother to just come forward and get us out of this horrible mess. The last time I physically saw it and the last time I physically spoke to my brother was on the 6th. I've tried to get in touch with him. Phone went to voicemail.
So, I think about where Cassie is. I think Al is right here, Ann, that she's thrust in the middle of all this. She's asking him to come forward. The parents have not said that. Sometimes siblings are in a little different position than parents. Parents, we are who we are when it comes to our kids. We understand that. But at the end of the day, there is like this pressure. It keeps bubbling up with the family. And I've got to think that it's going to lead to something.
I would think so.
And especially with Gabby Petito's mom tweeting, Mama Bear's angry. She knows there's tension, obviously it's very emotional. There's so many people so invested in the case, including the people that are camping outside of the family home of Brian Laundrie and the sister. So it's like, I get it. It's very emotional. Her daughter is gone. It's just concerning to me for her to, at that time, to be tweeting that, because it can set off a set of events that she can't even imagine, because everyone is so emotional and there's so much pressure surrounding everyone searching for Brian.
Let me ask you, Ann Bremner, if in fact there is some contact, if somehow, some way, Brian Laundrie contacts Cassie, contacts his brother-in-law, contacts his parents, do they have an obligation to come forward, or can they just like keep it to themselves and it is what it is?
Well, in this case, they will, and all the authorities are talking about justice, aiding and abetting, things like that. Any readiness to assist is known as accomplice liability, including after the fact if you have aiding and abetting in any way. And so, do they have a duty to come forward? Yes. Be prosecuted? I don't know. But they would be in great harm's way by not disclosing information in this manhunt. Suspected murder, excuse me.
Okay, one other thing that we learned today, and this kind of throws a little twist into this whole timeline of what was happening with Gabby and Brian. We learned this, a statement from the Laundrie family attorney who told us that Brian flew home to Tampa from Salt Lake City on August 17th and returned to Salt Lake City on August 23rd to rejoin Gabby. To my knowledge, Brian and Gabby paid for the flights as they were sharing expenses. Brian flew home to obtain some items and empty and close the storage unit to save money as they contemplated extending the road trip. Al Wunsch, this is again, so this is after they're stopped by police on August 12th. So it's about 5 days later, less than a week later. He's flying by himself back to Tampa. Closes down their storage unit, I guess, that they had because they're living the van life. So they put stuff in storage and then flies back to rejoin Gabby. What does that mean? What does that tell us, if anything, about what was going on here?
It's a very bizarre fact that's coming out at this point in time that he would have taken this trip and left her alone in the situation that, out on the road like that. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. There's so many like levels to this onion that you just keep peeling it and it just keeps making you just realize that something stinks here. I mean, who comes back to close the storage bin to save a couple of dollars with regards because they want to spend a couple more days away and then come back 5 days later? It's just something that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't demonstrate to me that this guy is on the up and up. And, just turn yourself in. If you didn't do it, then turn yourself in and you'll be free. And then you can walk on any Appalachian trail you want to go on. Turn yourself in. It's as simple as that.